What's up, guys? So, if you watch some of my other videos, I've done a favorite movie starting with every letter of the alphabet and a favorite and an MCU ranking. So, you probably picked up on the fact that I am an MCU fan. Basically, my three favorite fandoms are like, Narnia, Lord of the Rings, and um, and MCU. So I decided it would be fun to do a top 10 favorite characters list because then I'm not. Well, my mic looks weird. I don't like that. I do not like that at all. Okay, sorry. I'm getting distracted, which is my lot in life. You know what? Actually, it's fine. Um, so I thought it would be fun to do a top 10 character ranking list, top 10 favorite characters of all time from pretty much any fandom. That would be fun. So there might be some random ones in here, but it's true. So I decided basically how I learn how to do YouTube videos is I watch other YouTube videos and see what they use, what they talk about, and somebody else that I watch all the time, Sean Chandler, talks about it. You probably already know him, I'm guessing. I don't know because he has like 200,000 subscribers. But he says, oh, I use the desert island principle. If I was going to a desert island, who would I want with me? What would I want with me? So that works really well. So this list was really hard to make. It was really easy for me to decide like who my top characters are, but when we get into like the 5 through 10, it was really hard because there's so many that I love. Or I'm like, do I just like them? Do I love them? Do I love them in their fandom? Would I want them outside their fandom? So again, this is my desert island list. So if I was going to a desert island and I'm not based off of their skills or anything like that, because that would be a whole different list, based off of just how much I like them, how much I enjoy them, who would I want to hang out with me? And so this is my top 10 favorite movie characters of all time. And yeah, I apologize for kind of the weird background. I'm literally in a study room at my library, college library, because this is when I have time to film. So this is what's going on. All right. So number 10 is Loki. So this might be a hot take. Well, I don't know. Is this a hot take? Let me know. I actually, sorry, it's allergy season. Um, I actually prefer Loki as a character and strongly prefer Tom Hiddleston as an actor to Chris Hemsworth and Thor. Um, I don't know. I guess it's just because Chris Hemsworth is funny and he does have some hilarious lines. If you watch my MCU ranking, you know how much I love his quippy dialogue. I think he's great, but he's not. He's just not as interesting to me. Loki is so interesting. Loki's funny. Um, he's and I mean, okay, spoiler alert, but he goes through a lot of changes. It's really interesting. And I'm like, I was literally just rewatching the Loki show. It's so good. I love it so much. So yeah, I love Loki. Um, I strongly debated, do I put Loki or do I put Mr. Tumnus as my number 10 character? And I realized as much as I love Mr. Tumnus, I like to have like there's only so much like tea and playtime you can have, and I would much rather have like a sarcastic like debate about philosophical things with Loki than I would just have tea with Mr. Tumnus. Sorry, Mr. Tumnus, but if I was going to a desert island, I would take Loki with me. Be hardly because he would just be really fun, and also he's the god of mischief. He could probably figure out a way to get off the island. So I guess I am factoring in their powers a little bit or what they do as a character. But anyway, coming in at number 9, another MCU representation is Iron Man. So I go back and forth trying to decide which character I like better, Captain America or Iron Man. I do like Captain America better, but I love Iron Man. I think his arc is one of my favorites in cinema, which is hard, like, because there's so many good ones, but he has a really good arc. He's really fun. He's Robert Downey Jr. is, of course, sorry, um, charming and charismatic and has amazing chemistry with everybody. So again, I think I like him. If anyone else play, I don't know. I like Tom Cruise, who was up for the role. I do like him a lot. So actually, wait, do I like Tom Cruise? I haven't seen anything with Tom Cruise, but I'm sure he would be good. Um, so I love Iron Man so much as a character. He's interesting. Again, he's so complex. coming back to this, I love complex characters. I think that's just what makes it fun. I think it makes it charming and interesting and charismatic. It's fun. Coming in at number 8. This is like probably the most complex character on this list, and this is Gollum slash Smeagol. I love. Oh, see, I'm one of those people, like, I don't like what Gollum does. I hate what Gollum does. But he's so interesting. Like, is he a villain? Is he a good guy? Is he doing it? Ugh, it's so interesting. He is probably some of my favorite moments in the trilogy, in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Um, and he's just interesting. And I would love to except I don't know if I would. Except I don't know if I'd want him on the island with me as far as some of his creepier side. But he's interesting, and I'd love to just try to learn more about him. And also, he could catch fish, which is a good thing. Coming in at number 7 is Legolas. And there's really 2 words for this, why I love him. Orlando Bloom. If anyone else played him, this is the character, well, no, all these characters I love because of the actor that plays him, but I feel like Legolas is like on a different level. Like, because Legolas as his character is not the most interesting. I mean, he doesn't have a big lot of screen time. He doesn't have an arc. He's pretty much perfect the whole time. He doesn't change very much because he is a side character. But as a side character, Orlando Bloom is so fun, the way he plays him, his facial expressions. This is another reason I love Pirates of the Caribbean is because of Orlando Bloom. So yeah, I love Orlando. I love Legolas. I think he's fun, interesting. His banter with Gimli is hysterical. His loyalty to Aragorn is great. I love it so much. Coming in at number 6, and this is like kind of a random choice, but I love Riley Poole. Riley Poole is by far my favorite character in National Treasure. I'm kind of a lot like him, except I do love history. I'm more the history nerd than the science geek because I love to know things. I love to learn. I'm just really like weird and quirky. So I'm actually probably Riley Poole is like, of all the movie characters on this list, he's probably the one I most like, but in a different way. Like, I'm not nerdy the way he is, but I'm that level of nerdy geeky, if that makes sense. And he's fun. He has some of the best lines in the movie. Actually, he probably has the best lines in the movie. And he's so subtly and organically funny because you feel like you could actually know. I think that's one thing, like, all these characters on my list, he's probably the most like someone you would actually know. Again, I'm like him in a lot of ways. Like, whether it's, the scene, I'm assuming you've seen the movie, it's super common. It's been out for like 16 years or 17 years. It's been out for a long time, so I'm just assuming everyone has seen it. Like, there's that moment where Ben's dad discovers that they've stolen the Declaration of Independence, and he's like, oh my, oh, I love you. Whatever. You stole it? Like, to Ben. Or to all of them. And Riley is wearing like these yellow rubber gloves. I don't know why I love the rubber gloves so much. And he just goes like, he just points at Ben. It's so subtle. He doesn't say anything. He just points, and it's hilarious. It makes me laugh every single time. Or the conversation he's having with when they're talking about, oh no, we didn't miss the timely shadow. And he's like, wow, I know something about history that you don't know, blah, 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 blah. And he finally goes like, and Ben, and like they're having this little conversation, and they realize that Ben does know this. And he's like, it just, oh, it always, always, always makes me laugh. It's hilarious. I love Ben. I love Ben too, but I love Riley Poole. Coming in number 5, kind of the opposite end of the spectrum because he's not just doesn't just make me laugh, is Captain America. I love Captain America. He is so good. He's funny, but he's not. And again, I guess you do maybe know a Captain America, except no one has gone through what he's gone through in life. But his arc is so cool. He's so heroic. He's such like an old-fashioned hero set in like the 21st century. It's great. I love him. And again, his arc. I don't want to say a lot about it in case you don't know, but his arc is so good. And I love how he and Iron Man as a pair are like perfect because they, well, not as a pair, but contrasting. It makes for such an interesting dynamic. It is so good. And Chris Evans is handsome and he's a good actor. There's nothing about Chris Evans that I don't like. So I don't know much about his personal life, so then if I knew more about his personal life, I might change my mind. But he's wonderful. I love him to death. He's hilarious. He's such a good actor. I love him. So yes, that is number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have Edmund Pevensey. This is another one that I love. Well, there's 2 reasons why I love this: the arc, and I do love how he's played. The actor is great. His chemistry with the other actors. And he's just so cool. He's so interesting, like how he changes. And I think you do have to. This is a little bit unique because you do have to blend a little bit from the book that is in the movie, like how he changes, how he goes from like this really sullen little kid, bratty little kid. Again, someone you might know. Granted, I hope you don't know someone that would betray their siblings, but that idea of like just being a bratty kid because of stuff they've gone through in life, responding to it in a really negative way, differently from his siblings. And it's so cool. It's so interesting. I love that. And I love that about him. He's great. And he's just interesting to see that full arc, how he changes to becoming a hero. He he stands beside Lucy. It's awesome. I love him, and he's so loyal when he gets his head on right, when he's transformed. Speaking of loyal, except this one was always sorry, it's allergy. Like I said, allergy season. Speaking of inherently loyal characters, well, except this one starts out loyal, is Samwise Gamgee. Oh my goodness, I love Samwise Gamgee. He is my second favorite Lord of the Rings character, but there's one character in another fandom that I like better than him. Well, 2 other, outside of Lord of the Rings that I like better than him in my overall character ranking. And this is hard. I battle it out in between him and my number 2. You can probably guess what it is if you know watched any of my videos. But I love Sam. I think he's funny. He's so loyal. He's so solid. He's so cool. Oh, I love Sam. Everyone, I've said this forever. Forever, since I started watching the movies. Everyone wants Sam to be their very best friend. Every girl wants to date an Aragorn. And every guy should want to be an Aragorn. So he's just awesome. I don't think there's anything about him that I don't like. And again, Sean Astin is probably my favorite actor. I've pretty much decided that because I like him in everything he's in. To be honest, even if there's like a movie that I don't like necessarily that he's in, he's the best part of that movie. So he's great. I love Sam. Coming in at number 2 is Lucy Pevensey, which again you probably guessed that already. Up until my number 1, which I'm 99.9% sure you know what that is, she was my favorite movie character. And she is still my favorite book character, but we're not talking about books, we're talking about movies. I love Lucy. She is what I aspire to be as a Christian woman. Sorry, I have my iPad here for notes, and I just got a notification. I love her. I love her so much. I aspire to be her. I aspire to have her face. She's so solid. She's like Sam in a lot of ways, but in a different way. She's like Sam, but in a different way. She's so fiercely loyal. She's so committed to Aslan. Even when everyone's like, stop. She refuses to bow, and refuses to turn her back. I love that. And she just has such like a sweetness about her. Again, Georgie Henley plays her to perfection. I love Georgie Henley. She's amazing. I love Lucy. But coming in at number 1, without much competition, actually 0 competition, Aragorn. Okay, I would like to make a video about why the Lord of the Rings characters are so enduring. And here's why I think, but I'm going to give you a preview. I think they're so relatable. And they're goals. Like, you're like, oh, I want to be like Aragorn. Or I want to marry an Aragorn. I want to date an Aragorn. Blah, 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 blah. Aragorn is so good. I don't think there's anything about him that I don't like. Much like with all these. Most of these characters, I don't know. Actually, all these characters, I love inherently. I love, obviously, because they're my favorites. And again, Viggo Mortensen plays him to perfection. He's such a good actor. Viggo Mortensen is a great actor. I love Aragorn. I love his loyalty. I love that he's humble. I love how humbly, to quote Seth, he's humble. He kicks butt. He's a warrior. Whatever. I don't remember what his other reasons was. I would say he becomes the king. He's really attractive. He has such a good arc. His arc is like my favorite in all of cinema, hands down. In that, even like with Iron Man, as much as I love his arc, he goes from being bad to being good, which is fine. But Aragorn is not like a bad person. He's wonderful. But he's not doing all he can do. He actually thinks less of himself than he should. But honestly, and even when he becomes strong, when he becomes the king, he's still humble. He still has a level of, I'm aware of my weaknesses. I'm aware of my family's weaknesses. I need to be, and that's his greatest strength. So I love that about him. I love Aragorn. I love everything about him. I'm literally like, I'm just a girl waiting for, like, I'm just a girl waiting for my Aragorn. I'm just an Arwen waiting for my Aragorn. Well, that sounds weird. I want to marry an Aragorn. So that's what I'm looking for. And so maybe someday, I would love that. Actually, where I'm at, I meet a lot of Aragorns. The guys that seem to be like that. So maybe someday I'll have one on camera and say, hey, this is my Aragorn. I would love that. But if it doesn't happen, that's okay. So, from one single woman to another, if you're watching this video, wait for your Aragorn. Don't settle for, I don't know what you can settle for, but don't settle for Isildur. Wait for Aragorn. Please. It's worth it. Or Faramir. Don't settle for anything less than an Aragorn because you deserve an Aragorn. And I mean that with all seriousness. This is off track, but you deserve it. You deserve a Captain America. You deserve an Aragorn. Because you are worth being treated like they treat women. Anyway. So like I said, that's what I'm waiting for. And yes, so Aragorn is, without question, my favorite movie character of all time. So those are my top 10. What are your top 10s or your absolute favorite movie character? I know this is kind of a random list, but sometimes I'm a random person. So, please tell me what you like in the comments below. And if you want to see more top 10s, I could probably pull that off. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Okay. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye, guys.